Hey there, and welcome to Like We Do, a brand new podcast with my wife and I, trying new things out. We're getting to that age where we're heading for empty nest syndrome, so we decided we were going to try out a podcast and see how that goes. The podcast is going to be about different things, news, and questions and answers, and story time, featuring probably stories about our kids mostly. With me is Terry.
Hello.
And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself right now. My name, like I said, is Scott. And I come from, well, we both come from the great state of Maine. Way up north, where mooses are your neighbor. Mooses. Moose? Meese? Moose. Okay. I know I'm not supposed to say but I say a lot.
Should be the Like We podcast.
Well, a little bit about myself is I am unofficially retired. I'm disabled. Not in a wheelchair or anything, but unfortunately, I've been out of work for 20. We discussed this a little while ago. 23 years now, going on 23 years. 23 horrible years.
Actually, technically, I think it's longer. I think it's about 95.
95 years? I'm not even 95 years old.
95. 2000. No.
Anyways. So we decided, like I said, to make this podcast and start like a new little hobby that we can do together and kind of use our time that we're going to find by ourselves, and to keep from having to talk to one another like old folks do. We can talk to you people instead.
We're talking to each other.
Well, I know, but I can pretend there's somebody else in the room.
Oh, okay. If that makes it better to talk to me,
yeah,
we'll go with that.
A little bit, yeah. So, tell them about you there, sweetie.
Well, I am working. I am a pharmacy technician at a local pharmacy. I'd rather be an artist, but one of them pays the bills and the other doesn't. So that's what I do. That and being a mother to our 3
She's a great
children.
artist too. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you're a great artist.
Thank you.
We'll have like web pages and stuff like that soon. I mean, this is our first little venture out there, so we're still kind of building everything. But when we have the web pages and stuff like that, we'll have to put some of your art up there just for people to look at, because it's amazing. It really is amazing.
Thank you.
And if she disappears at any time, her voice, that is, I have to keep reminding her to talk into the mic, because she likes to look around the room instead of looking at me, because I think I'm just disgustingly ugly.
No. It's so awkward to stand perfectly still, and I keep having to yawn or cough or clear my throat. Let's just do that. That's just right. So I'll just let the yawns roll, because it's got to be better than that.
Well, yeah. Hey, I guess I'm boring, too. I'm ugly and I'm boring. But anyways, what this podcast is kind of about is, well, we're going to be testing different things in different formats and stuff like that. But for this particular episode, we're going to do some news and current events, some question and answers that our kids came up with, and we're going to do a story time. We'll probably have lots of story times dealing with our kids, because they're incredibly, I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, that's the word for it, I'm guessing. And as we go along, we'll probably change the format up a bit, or maybe we won't, depending on what people give us for reactions and critique.
Yeah.
So let's go right into the news. And the first topic I got for the news is my wife's favorite topic. Not really, but she likes to hear me complain about Mr. Daryl Brooks.
Yeah. I despise Daryl Brooks simply for the all night YouTube sessions of his trial.
Me screaming at the top of my lungs.
Yeah, yeah. I wake up hearing subject matter jurisdiction, or
Oh, yeah, every day during that court case. That's all this guy yelled. He didn't think that. Well, let me tell you what he's about first and foremost. Daryl Brooks, I don't know if you remember, is the guy that ran his Ford Escape over a bunch of people in Wisconsin during the Christmas parade. He was just annoyed that they were in his way, so he went down the street, decided to mow them over. And, in the meantime, he just happened to kill 6 people, one including a 6-year-old Jordan Sparks. Just incredibly arrogant, entitled, just a real piece of. But anyways, I got some news clips. I mean, not news clips. Sorry, some voice clips of him, sound clips. That's the word I'm looking for. Of him during the court. His antics were.
he defended himself. He's a
Pro se is what they call him.
pro se.
Pro se. Well, he's an idiot, is what he is,
Yeah,
really. But
yeah.
pro se. He's a sovereign citizen, I think, is the other word you were looking for. And these are the guys that believe that they are sovereign of the United States, that the laws of the United States, they're not subject to them. So they go around doing whatever they want. They don't have licenses. They can do whatever they want. And the crazy part about it is they rely on this. They rely on their information about the laws from the Constitution, which is the law of the land of the United States, which they claim to be not part of. So you want to talk about a bunch of friggin' crayon eaters? There you go, right there. I mean,
Crayon eaters.
oh, they're dumb. They are so dumb. And you can go onto YouTube and you can look up sovereign citizen, and every single clip on there, none of it works. They'll lock themselves in their car and they'll say, well, I have the right to travel, because they never drive, they travel. And they don't need a license to travel. And the police officer will say, step out of the car. And they say, no, this is my private property. I don't have to listen to your laws or anything like that. And at the end of every clip shows the police officer bashing the windows and pulling these dumbasses out through their windows. Every clip ends like that. So, anyways, here's a clip of Daryl. One of the more common sovereign citizen thing is that when they're born, on their birth certificate, it's written in all capital letters, and they call this a straw man. And the government uses this straw man to deposit anywhere from $500,000 to $500 million. Oh yeah, I'm not kidding.
I've never heard this.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so that's in this secret trust, but it's not the person; it's the all capital letters. And of course, this is completely ridiculous, but here he is talking about it.
Was all in capital letters. Ever since September 29th, roughly around there, now everything starts to go to lowercase letters. Why is that?
Because he's a baby and he asked for it. The judge was a saint in this. She tried so hard not to let this small swear word of a man get an appeal on this case. She did everything. So he said, well, I can't be sued. And after killing 6 people, he has to dismiss his case for these reasons. That he can't be sued because, or he can't be, the case should be dismissed because his name was all in capital letters. So the case should be dismissed. There's some other crazy things he did.
Not upholding my constitutional rights. I'm sure you know about Title 18, USCS 2381, which states that it's treason not to uphold your oath of office. Treason.
Yeah, it was treason back in the 1700s, but that doesn't matter to them. A lot of their cases have to do with back in the day when the Constitution was just written and not updated, so. But he had a day where he just went on for like 50 minutes just making insane, asinine claim after claim after claim. Here's one more, and then I'll get to the really sickening stuff.
I can go on and on and on about what's not being done. I have, again, I say I have the right to face my accuser. Where's the injured party? Who's making the claim? I asked Your Honor numerous times for Your Honor's name.
I asked Your Honor.
You wouldn't answer. I asked, did you have a claim against me? You did not answer. I asked the whole courtroom, did anyone have a claim against me? No one said anything. Which you stated for the record a non-responsive answer. A non-responsive answer is an agreement, which would be a tactic agreement by you, Your Honor, that
It's
you don't
actually
have to answer these questions that you should be answering.
It's actually called a tacit agreement, but this guy has the diction of a, well, I'd say kindergartner, but they're way smarter than he is. So, anyways, here's one. I'll play one more. This is a father of a child that he hit. I can't even explain it. He's cross-examining a father of a child that he hit with his car because he was annoyed that people were in a parade that day and he had just had a fight with his girlfriend. Listen to this crap.
We did not want to leave right away because my son said he couldn't feel his legs, and there was a woman there helping us that said he might have a back injury, that we should not move him.
To your recollection, was that woman a nurse or a medical professional?
I don't know.
Can you imagine that?
No.
I mean, was this woman a nurse? Well, it doesn't matter. The poor kid is lying there. He said he couldn't feel his legs. And this guy, well, was she a nurse? Because he probably just had a couple of boo-boos. You know, it was just the car that I ran him over.
I just can't get over that at the end of the day, he feels no responsibility for this whatsoever.
No, well, he was diagnosed with what's called with narcissism. So he is much more superior than anybody else. He's smarter than everybody else. I mean, that shows when he dismissed his lawyers, because obviously he was smarter than his lawyers. He actually looked at one of the prosecutors and said that she needed the extra help, the 2 extra lawyers that were helping her, because he didn't believe she was that intelligent. This guy had 77 counts of hit and run against him. I can't remember what the real name is. And 6 murder cases against him. And he's looking to dismiss the case because his name was in all capital letters. That's how dumb this guy was. This is what wakes you up at night when I'm screaming at the screen watching these YouTube videos and just, I mean, instances like that. Well, was she a nurse? Well, does it friggin' matter? Oh, he pisses me off. He pisses me off.
Is it over though? The trial is over, correct?
The trial is over. He's looking to get a not a retrial, but a
Appeal?
an appeal. The last I heard, the lawyer that was assigned his appeal.
Oh, he's gonna have a lawyer now.
Oh well, yeah.
Okay.
I hope so. If not, then
Take two.
take two. But anyways, the lawyer has his choice. Again, legal terms I'm not familiar with, but the lawyer has a choice to say, yeah, there's reason to have an appeal, or no, there's no reason to have an appeal. And the lawyer was pretty much, I'm going to pass on this because there's no chance in hell this guy's going to get an appeal. Like I said, the judge was a saint. If you watch the case, she's much more patient than I was. Some of the things that he does in this case, I would have been looking for the nearest blunt instrument and just beating him in the head over and over and over.
I just hope he doesn't get an appeal because I don't want another year of listening to trials.
You don't want to hear another year of me screaming at the screen
Both.
at night.
Both.
Oh, but anyways, that's the wonderful world of Daryl Brooks. We'll keep you updated anyways, whether he gets his appeal or not. I haven't heard anything more about this idiot, but
If you have any feedback or comments, let us know.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
if you know anything more than we do, then
join in the Daryl Brooks bashing. I mean, the more the merrier.
all right. This next news thing. Have you heard of this? Have you seen this? This Trump thing?
No.
No. Trump was supposed to get arrested today.
For what?
Well, that's just the thing. Nobody really knows.
So who said he's getting arrested?
Oh, well, that's just the thing. Nobody really knows. He's just going to get arrested because, well, he deserves to be arrested.
All right.
Here's a little clip here.
Simply because he may have committed worse crimes, you don't let him off of lesser crimes. If you are, for example, seeking a prosecution for murder, if the guy gets caught drunk driving in another context before that, you don't just let him go because you have bigger fish to fry.
Nobody is above the law, including Donald Trump. It doesn't matter that this is kind of a minor crime compared to some of the other allegations.
A crime is a crime is a crime is a crime. That's what anybody prosecuting or a judge would say.
A crime is a crime is a crime, as Mika said. An indictment is an indictment is an indictment. When I hear people saying this is much ado about nothing, I think about all the members of Congress I served with and understanding every single one of them would have been charged and sent to jail had they done this.
I was reading the Bible, which said that a man sows, that he may also reap.
This is not any clearer to me.
No, it's not. It's not any clearer to me as well. You notice the whole thing missing during that. Oh, crime is a crime is a crime. Well, what was the crime? I think it has something to do with that Stormy Daniels thing.
Oh.
That,
Any color, name, or something?
well, no, I guess he paid her hush money to be quiet about his past indiscretions.
That's between them.
Well,
You know, honestly.
I do believe it was before he was president, so. And again, I could be wrong because they don't really say what the crime is.
But who is that they?
Who's they?
Yeah, that who is that clip from? I mean, who's saying?
Oh, the normal roundabouts of degenerates on
mainstream media.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
on
gotcha.
CNN, MSNBC. You heard the Reverend Al Sharpton there at the end. He what a man sows, now he also reaps.
So after Trump, they're going after Biden, right? Because a crime is a crime is a crime.
Oh, and his secret file? No,
Oh.
no, he didn't. He didn't
Shoot.
have secret files there.
So it's only applicable to past deplorable presidents.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. You know,
That's right.
if you smoke crack and do prostitutes and are the son of Biden, you're okay. You're cool.
We'll give you implements, actually, to smoke your crack because it's safer.
Yeah.
So,
But, you know, if you happen to tan your skin and your name is Donald Trump, then, you know, and I gotta come clean. I'm not a big Trump supporter. As a person, he's not my favorite guy either. But I have, and my wife can attest to this, I have very little patience for stupid people. Very little.
this is true.
And Biden's about as dumb as they come. I mean, watching that guy fall upstairs, that takes a special kind of like I said earlier, crayon eater.
Where's our Biden clips?
Oh, I should have.
You know, entertainment factor alone, you know, that is why I enjoyed George W. Bush. He was pure, simple entertainment. Biden is entertaining. I mean,
Well,
just
yeah,
to watch
I'll
the
give
like
you that, yeah.
NASCAR. He's the NASCAR of presidents. We are watching for the wrecks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, unfortunately, though, you know, Bush's gaffes didn't have much to do with his policies. Now, again, as you can kind of guess, we're kind of left-wing people, if you haven't guessed that already.
We are not radical.
No, we weren't there on January 6th, or as other people have called it, the new 9/11.
That's insane.
But anyways, you know, George Bush's policies during 9/11, they were horrible. They did away with your privacy. But I can sit here and agree with some things that the Democrats have to say. The old school Democrats. These new school Democrats where, I mean, there's just too much to list. What's wrong with these people?
This
the
is not
AOCs,
That's not episode 1 material.
No,
No.
that's sitting on the couch talking for an hour, paying somebody $200 an episode material there. But yeah, when you want a Biden clip, you can. My favorite is his story of Corn Pop.
Corn Pop.
Now, Corn Pop was a bad dude.
I'd love to meet Corn Pop.
Well, he was a bad dude.
I don't care.
If you never heard the story of Biden and Corn Pop, look that up on YouTube, because it is the craziest. I think the story is about 5 minutes. It is the craziest 5 minutes of bullshit I think you'll ever hear. So, anyways, that has to do with Trump.
So
That has he
Okay,
didn't get arrested today, by the way.
Oh, the day's not over? I mean, it could still happen.
Yeah, well,
I got no news breaks.
I mean, they were preparing for protests and riots in the streets and all this and that. So,
Oh, holy shit!
that's probably why they didn't arrest him, is because us right wingers are dangerous people that.
You said we were left wing just a minute.
Oh
ago.
yeah, us left wingers. Well, I get my left and right confused.
We get very confused. Yeah.
You know how I honestly remember it is the term left wing gun nut, because I like guns and I tend to be left wing, so I guess I'm a left wing gun nut.
I think you've just confused me, whether it's right or left. I don't know what I am anymore.
Well, I'm left-handed, so. No, it is right wing gun nut,
It's
isn't it?
right wing. It's leftist tears.
Oh yeah.
Leftist tears.
Well, as lots of mistakes in the first episode. Leave me alone.
Love me some Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, so. Well, our kids wrote in some questions, or wrote down some questions for us, and we're going to do our best to answer some of them. I don't know if we'll have time to do them all or not, but we'll definitely do some.
Okay.
So, why don't you read the first one?
Oh, we're going right in order?
I don't care. Pick one.
I'm going to go right in order.
Okay, so you read it. I'll answer first, then you'll answer, then I'll read number 2, and then you answer first. How's that sound?
That sounds fine. What one piece of advice would you give your teenage self?
Probably one piece of advice. Well, I got to split it up. I can't just give myself one piece of advice. I think, looking at me now, well, I guess I can collaborate the two. Would be to not start smoking and to stop eating, because I'm a big dude. I'm a big dude. So I would tell myself to watch my weight and to not even start smoking.
Yeah.
So I guess I would collaborate that one into stay healthy.
Build better habits.
Well, I wouldn't be so
Dramatic.
so gay about it.
I'm going to have to go with the smoking, too. I was trying to think what I would say, but yeah, the thing that has impacted me most in life that began in my teenage years would be to smoke. We smoke. We're evildoers. We smoke cigarettes. That is our literal only vice in this life, I think.
Well, now.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, again, another day, another topic. Number 2, what was the worst job you ever had? I think I know your answer, but go ahead.
Well,
It's your answer.
the worst job I ever had was cleaning hotel rooms.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
At a little hotel in Brewer, Maine. It was wretched, and it didn't last long.
I went to pick her up from that job one day. I had my little cousin in the car sitting right beside me. We went to pick her up after work one day, and she had just, I guess, had the worst day. And this sweet little woman that I've known most of her teenage life comes out to the car, rips the door open, yells at my little cousin, "Get in the back!"
It was a day. A day was had.
I know. He didn't even bother getting out. He jumped from the passenger seat into the back seat with one hop.
This was not a luxurious hotel. I was not cleaning rooms at, the Hilton. I was cleaning rooms at a pretty seedy little place. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they rented the rooms by the hour.
Oh, yummy.
Yeah, but it was not good. It was not fun. It was gross, nasty, and it was August in Maine, so it was,
Condoms.
90 plus.
Condoms don't age well in the sun, huh?
Condoms don't clean themselves.
My worst job, I would have to say, is I worked at a pizza place called Pizza Oven. And they had one of those old-fashioned pizza ovens, oddly enough. And every time that you reached in there, you had a chance to burn your arm, like a 3rd-degree burn. It wasn't if it happened, it was when it was going to happen. And after you burned your arm, every time you stuck your arm back into that pizza oven, it felt like you were burning your arm all over again. I actually watched my skin bubble one night while my arm was in there. And I'm trying not to get this pus or water, like after you burn yourself.
Yeah, blister.
I'm trying not to get it on the pizzas.
But rest in peace, Pizza Oven. It was delicious pizza, and I am the biggest pizza fan out there. I am a connoisseur of all things pizza.
She is.
That
too.
was good pizza.
Oh, just night after night of pizza sometimes. So, your turn.
My turn. What kind of student were you?
I was the worst kind of student. I got asked to leave high school when I was a sophomore. Way too many details to get into in one little Q&A session, but I went into the principal's office and he asked me to leave. So, and I was like, for the day? And he said, no, we don't need you back here. So, luckily, right across the hall was an adult education class. So, and at the time, I'm going to brag a little bit. At the time, I was the youngest student in adult education because I had taken a GED test.
Yeah.
And the guy told me, the head of the adult education told me that I could go on my way with a GED and he'd be happy giving it to me, or I could fight for that diploma. I decided to fight for the diploma. And I just thrive so much better in the atmosphere of not being told what to do. Kind of like the college life, where...
Yeah, you have a life outside of school besides...
Well, not only that, but, if you don't do your work, you don't get punished for it. You don't do your work.
Right.
So, what kind of student were you there, Miss Priss?
Studied hard, honor roll, played sports. I had a really good high school career.
Yeah.
No trouble. I did decide to try to skip school.
Once in 4 years, you
My
tried to
senior
skip
year.
school.
I did. I skipped school, and the assistant principal brought me down, and he said, "What were you doing?" I'm like, "I just hadn't done it." He's like, "Get out of here." Yeah, I didn't even get in trouble. Didn't even get in trouble.
I think I skipped school. It was my freshman year, the first time. Yeah, it was the first day. I think I said I don't feel like going today.
And it was just one class, and we just went to my house, and I knew my mom was working, so me and a couple friends of mine went out on the back deck, smoked some cigarettes, had a sandwich. And yeah, we were naughty. And then we went back to school. So I didn't skip for the whole day. We skipped one class.
I skipped for whole days.
No, just one class. It was the easy class. The football coach, he didn't care if you were there. He didn't take attendance. But apparently that day we had a substitute, and they did take attendance. So that's the only reason I got caught.
Well, that'll happen.
Yep.
All right, what's next here?
All right. Describe the first...
Wait, this is mine, isn't it?
I don't know. I've started now. Describe the first time you meet. What does that mean? You meet what?
Describe that. Maybe it's met.
Like when we met?
I think so.
That's a complicated question.
Describe the first time we met?
Yeah. It's a little complicated.
I don't know. Well...
It's complicated.
I have an older cousin that was married to this woman who had a sister who was married to
my
wife's father.
Yep.
So that
his
doesn't
cousin,
mean anything.
Yeah. His cousin I called Uncle Gordon, so...
But she's not my niece or anything like that. We're not that kind of family.
No.
I know we're from Maine, but...
Yeah, no, not that kind of family. But so we met. That's technically how we met.
And she was like this little girl. She's only 2 years younger than me, but I was hanging out with people that were, at the time I was 14, 15, and I was hanging out with people that were 30, 35.
Were you that young?
Yeah.
And he seemed older. He seemed eons older, and I think I was slightly infatuated with this really funny fella, even as a young girl, but I really thought he was way out of my league. He's too old for me.
I'm only 2 years older, but...
I'd have thought you were much older.
Well, I did much older things.
Well,
Again, different story. Tune in next week when you find all about it. Not really, but anyways. We'll do one more.
Okay.
We'll keep this podcast short just so we don't torture people. But, and again, like my wife said earlier, let us know. Tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. We can only get better by getting feedback and critique, good critique. What do they call that? Constructive criticism?
Yep.
Don't call us a bunch of dumbasses because then we'll just ignore you. And
Pretty much.
more than likely I'll agree with you anyway, so there's no sense calling me a dumbass. Number 5. Were you close to your grandparents? Well, this is a loaded question. You answer first.
I was close to, I'd say, most all sets of grandparents. I was raised in a home with 2 of them, my mother's parents, my nan and pup, and I lived with them until I was 18 years old, till I left and moved in with Scott. So I would say very close. They were just as much parental figures as my mother. So it was me, my mom, and my nan and my pup. So I was very close with them. And my father's parents, when I would stay with my father, I actually instead...
You should probably, not to interrupt you, but you should probably mention your mother and father were divorced.
Oh, yeah, they were. They were divorced, sorry. I just assume people know that.
Yeah. Broken home.
Broken home, tears. I knew no different of life. They divorced when I was like 2 months old, so the only life I really knew was my life in the house with Nan and Pup and Mom. And then occasionally once or twice a month I went down and stayed with, I'll say my father, but what I was about to say before you interrupted me was I didn't really stay at my father's. I stayed with my grandmother, his mother.
That's because he was a neglectful asshole.
Yeah, it's because he put in some obligatory time. So he'd show up to get me. Sometimes I'd be waiting for him to come get me, but that's another story. But then he'd take me out to dinner, take me out to his father's house. He'd feed me a piece of corn, then he'd drop me off with his mother. And that's how my weekend went.
Feed you a piece of corn.
Feed me a piece of corn I called my other grandfather, his name was Popeye. That's what we called him because he smoked a pipe, so I called him Popeye. Mm-hmm. So I'd go to Popeye's, he'd have a cold piece of corn waiting for me in the fridge. I'd have that, and he had a monkey too. I'd check out his monkey. And
he had a monkey?
He had a monkey.
A friggin' monkey?
He had a friggin' monkey in a little cage. It was a little tiny monkey. I wasn't allowed to pet it or hold it or nothing, but I could look at it.
Well, no, you get, like, monkey pox.
No. Then I'd go home, stay with my grandmother, who would drink the night away and piss her pants on the way back to bed.
I've had a couple of drinks with her. It's the only older woman that I got drunk under the table by.
So
I never pissed my pants. So,
so my stability was not with my father. Actually, I could,
He was my boss, by the way. I ended up dating my boss's daughter, which, from what I've heard of the old songs, is always recommended. So,
Lord have mercy. But did you have my uncle as your boss too?
No,
because my uncle, my father's brother, was the boss before my father. So
yeah, when he passed on, your father took over as manager. That's when I got hired.
That's when he hired a whole bunch of his friends, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and there's more to that story too. Boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some of it we're just not going to mention because, well.
You just met us. It's too much.
Well, I not only that, but I don't know if the law of limitations is run out.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
But anyways, my grandparents, well, my mother and father weren't married. I was what you considered a good old-fashioned bastard. So I didn't really know my father's mother and father. I stayed with them once. When my mother went into a psych hospital, and she did that to get back at her mother, my other grandmother. my mother's father died probably a year or two before I was born. And her mother, I so lovingly called Grambo, because this woman at the age of 70, 72, had a peace warrant put out against her from another old lady that was terrified of her. She had threatened to beat her to a pulp. I showed up there one time. I kid you not. The police were there. The lights were going off. I was like, what is going on? And my grandmother's outside, and I went over there. And I asked her, what's going on? She goes, oh, that bitch over there, and F and F this C, and I'm going to kill her if I see her on this. I had to hold her back. The cops are coming over. I'm trying to convince them not to arrest this woman. So, yeah, milk and cookies weren't on the menu very often with her.
No, more like, here, have a pack of Winstons, and let's go beat the crap out of someone.
Oh, yeah, she was...
And then go to church on Sunday.
And go to church on Sunday, yes. Well, everybody needs a day off. The Lord needed a day off. You know, my Grambo needed a day off.
She was sweet as pie in church. I know you didn't go with her.
Oh, she loved you. It was me she hated.
Yep. She did love me. I could literally do no wrong.
And you were the only one. There's a lot of boys on my side of the family. And every boy, myself, my cousin Gordon, my cousin Keith, I'm an only child, by the way, so isn't my wife. But all of their wives were nothing but whores, just whores. If they had children with them, then, you know, it's because they cheated. But my wife came along, and like I said, she loved her more than she loved me. She could do no wrong in this woman's eyes. And
she loved our daughter.
Oh yes, she did.
Yep, that was the first girl grandbaby, and she loved her.
Yep.
So Grambo might have been a little rough around the edges, and and downright mean sometimes, but
sometimes
there was a very soft spot in her. There really was. I think the woman lived a life. I'll bet you find when she was younger, she lived a life.
Oh yeah, she told me some stories of getting whoopings, and back then it wasn't like, you know, you take a hand and get 10 across the butt cheeks. It was, you know, go out and pick your own switch, and you get caned like over there in, where's that, Korea or somewhere?
Yep.
And you know, the father was done once he drew blood, so yeah, she had some stories.
Yep.
So, well, I think that's all the Q&A that we'll do for tonight. So, we'll move right on to story time.
Story time, or as it's listed on the planner here, audioable.
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 We were going to tell a story about how each one of our children were born under the same circumstances that they live. That is that our first daughter was supposed to be born on a Friday. And she was supposed to be induced on a Friday. So, I mean, she had an appointment to be born on a Friday. And she didn't come out until Saturday.
I don't think it was a Friday, but...
Whatever. It was the day after.
Right.
Thanks for correcting me in front of all these nice people.
Well, you know, now I have to look it up.
So anyways... And that's how she is now. She's very slow, methodical, snail's pace. I love you, sweetie, if you're listening. But she'll, I think, be the first to admit she's going to be late for her own funeral. But I got thinking of a story today that had me giggling on the inside. Have you ever done that? Have you ever just thought of something and it made you giggle?
Yeah.
Out loud, audible, as it says there.
He's not an awesome speller.
No, I well, as we found out that I got done school in sophomore, so spelling wasn't at the top of my list.
Gotcha.
but it's the story of.
I don't even know what this is going to be. This is like some big surprise here. So
She
I have a
started telling
feeling.
me this story. This little wide-eyed, innocent girl. And when I first met her, she was wide-eyed. She was innocent. I'm the one that corrupted her.
I'm not corrupted.
Well, kind of, sort of. Anyways, she started telling me this story, and as she's telling me this story, I'm just laughing harder and harder and harder, and she's not getting it. And that's the story
I know what story it is now.
of when your mother had two friends named Richard. But so not to confuse the two Richards, they called one of the bigger Richards Big Dick and the little Richard Little Dick.
Yep, Big Dick and Little Dick.
And she's telling me the story of how Big Dick used to go in with Mom, and I would go outside and play with Little Dick. Go ahead and tell that story, dear.
I think Little Dick, my mother worked at a bar at a hotel, and Little Dick, I think, was a salesman that came through. I don't know what the hell he was selling. I really couldn't tell you, but...
Stuff for Little Dick.
What?
Stuff for Little Dick.
And anyways, how my mother tells me the story is that Little Dick really missed his children. So, he borrowed me for a couple of hours. I would literally, I remember showing up to Little Dick's hotel room in my snowsuit,
God.
and I would spend the afternoon with Little Dick. I think my mother was working. Maybe she was napping. I have no idea.
She still spends time with Little Dick.
That's another story. Yeah, and I remember we went outside and we made snow angels, and
So you made snow angels with Little Dick.
I did. Yeah, that's what I remember. But I didn't think anything of it as a child.
You
I don't
didn't
even
think
really...
any of it as an adult either.
Nope.
You're telling me this story with the straightest face. I'm crying, much like I'm doing now, just laughing because every part of the story is just an innuendo. Just like now, I made snow angels with Little Dick. How'd that turn out? So what did Big Dick do for a living?
I don't know what Big Dick did. The only thing I really remember is that
I know what Big Dick does.
was that he was a larger man, and we went for a ride in his Winnebago. I don't know what else there was. We rode
Big Dick often travels.
We went up to the dam in the Winnebago, and we looked at the dam, and I don't remember much else, really.
Damn, that's Big Dick.
I think Mom really wanted to date Big Dick.
Well, who doesn't want to date Big Dick, really?
And they might have. I don't know. I in life, I'm oblivious to a lot of things, apparently, and apparently I'm oblivious to Big Dick and Little Dick as well.
Oh, well, you're not oblivious to Little Dick now, unfortunately.
No, now I'm like, can you imagine nowadays sending your kid to a
play with
hotel
Little
room
Dick.
with a man that you've not even Facebook stalked, so you don't even really know what his real story
Oh,
is?
God, no.
Do you know what I mean? Just here, borrow my kid. I know you missed yours. You're sad. Go have fun and make snow angels. No. I don't know what I'm repressing of that visit. I mean,
you
there's
God.
got to be something.
I'm here
I can't
laughing
remember.
at your face, and you're probably repressed.
Yeah, we're probably going to bring out some repressed memories here of
Little Dick had two
molestation.
twins.
Oh.
Two bald twins. Little Dick spat a lot, too.
And I don't have a great memory, so it's probably a blessing.
Oh, my God. That was the funniest. I mean, again, she must have gone on for 20 minutes just telling this story of Big Dick and Little Dick before she caught on. What I was laughing about. She's over there getting mad at me. What is so funny about Little Dick?
I'm innocent. But now that I'm remembering it, and I'd love to know. I'd love to see what Little Dick actually looked like. But I seem to think he looked like Jerry Lewis. He had dark hair and of that I'm being serious. I wish I knew more than...
She wishes she
I
knew
wish I
more
knew-
about Little Dick. That makes me feel a little bit better anyways.
Laughing at my childhood.
No, I'm laughing at your little dick.
That's what she said.
Oh, was Big Dick intimidating?
No, he was not.
No, he was a gentle Big Dick.
He was a jovial giant. Yeah,
Ah.
he was very
Oh,
nice.
he's a happy Big Dick.
Yep.
Big Dick normally is happy. Oh, God.
Oh, thanks for that, dear. That was a total surprise.
Oh, that was a great audio bubble.
Yep. That was a good one. I'll have to think of one for you.
Oh, well, I don't have many like that.
I don't think most people do.
Oh, no, the story of Big Dick and Little Dick.
She'll live in infamy in episode 1.
Well, we're going to cut this episode short because we have run out of ideas, to be quite honest with you. We'll have more and more as time goes on. We want to shoot for usually about 45 minutes to an hour. I don't know how long it's been now. I can't see the little thing. So,
I think this is fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I had a good time.
I did too.
You said once every 2 weeks. I mean, I could honestly see sitting down here and doing this
Once every week?
every evening.
Well,
I don't know. I know.
That's a lot of work to put this stuff together. I mean,
Is it really? Could we
I'm
just
not
sit
Joe
here and
Rogan, I don't have the kind of...
let the microphones roll and just...
well, I have noticed that from the beginning to the end now, we're a little more comfortable talking into the mics. It's kind of like we're talking to one another, where at the beginning we were like very robotic and...
Yeah.
Big Dick will do that to you. Big Dick will make you feel comfortable.
See, but I remember more about Little Dick. He's more memorable.
Jerry Lewis.
I loved Jerry Lewis. Maybe that's just my
She
memory.
loved Jerry Lewis.
did
She
love-
loved Little Dick.
Oh, Lord.
So anyways, like I said, look out for a web page pretty soon. We're on, as far as I know, we're on Apple, iPod, Cast, whatever that's called, and Spotify and all that. I'm sure my wife will send out links to all of her friends, family, and...
Oh, God, I don't know. Not after you pick that first topic. I don't know how many people I can send this to.
Well, don't send it to the pastor or anything like that.
He's on my friends list.
So, yeah, you lucky ones that get to hear the first part of this sweet disaster. Make sure you get back to us with like I said, critique and stuff like that.
Yeah, some feedback would be awesome.
Yeah, look for a web page is the second thing that we want to try and build, and then we're going to look into what's that thing called there where you beg for money, like Patreon, the homeless helper of the internet, where you can beg for change like homeless people.
I don't think that's what that is.
That's what it seems like to me.
That seems more like GoFundMe would be the
the homeless
helper. I don't know.
Got some change, mister.
No. Patreon for supporting content that you enjoy.
And viewers like you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And all that other happy horse shit. But anyways, what's the other thing that, merchandise, or as the young kids call it, merch. That's right. So
we got big plans. We hope you like what we're doing.
Yeah.
Sharing just a little bit of our crazy life that No one-
it gets crazier too.
yeah.
You think the big dick, little dick story? You ain't heard nothing yet.
You led pretty big, dear. I
Oh.
mean, we are kind of ordinary people, but I don't know.
Ordinary now. I mean,
What-
some of the things that I've been through alone,
Yeah.
just by myself, and I'm not bragging. Some of it I'm glad is in my past, but some of it I wouldn't want to do ever again. You know, the reason why I'm disabled, I would have never ever want to do that again, and I'll get into that story sometime.
I
Just
was gonna
tons
be
of
a-
stories.
Slightly more uplifting, but we can do some depressing episodes as well, I guess.
Tune in and take your Prozac. This is gonna be a story turner,
Yeah.
page turner, barn burner. I don't know.
I feel like before we leave, we should tell them why we call it Like We Do.
What do you mean?
Well, why we named it Like We Do.
Like,
Like we do.
oh,
I had to say it with a certain accent for him to be triggered here.
There is a comedian. You might have heard of him, maybe not. His name is Eddie Izzard, and he was telling a story of. I can't even remember the whole story, but the story was of a man that lived in a cave, and he got to that part where he said, he was up living in a cave, like you do. And I just latched onto that. So everything that that applied to, I came downstairs and I stubbed my toe, like you do. And
Yep.
the saying just got funnier and funnier. The accent got funnier and funnier every time I said it.
And even the kids adapted it. I mean, they will like you do.
Yep. So they suggested, they're the ones that we were trying to come up with names, and we were trying things like Gen X, but there is an awesome podcast out there called Gen X Talks. I'll drop their name. The guy kind of looks like me too, just big guy with a big fluffy beard, and looks like we could be stunt doubles for Grizzly Adams, kind of. But I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, so we were coming up with names. Hey, thanks for listening.
Sorry, I'm paying attention.
No, you're looking at the
I'm
needles
listen-
bounce.
I get distracted.
Shiny thing syndrome. Anyways, we're trying to come up with names, and our oldest daughter came up with that name, like you do. And I was like, well, it's both of us, so why don't we call it like we do? All of us, our 3 kids, my wife, myself, the dogs, the cats.
I can't believe we went almost a whole hour without somebody texting or calling us.
Well, we had that part at the beginning that we redid because the daughter called.
Well, I know, but now since then, not one text, not one call.
Mm-hmm.
You will hear from our kids. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yes. Our daughter wants to be the first guest on our, to the point where I had to go buy a little special dongle, as they call it, just so she could be a guest from her home down in Bangor, which is 70 miles away. Our son wants...
Great, now they got a radius. They're going to track us down.
My son wants to be on here and talk about Funko Pops. He's, I love that boy.
He loves his Funko Pops. And our youngest, she's in her brooding teenage years. We might not hear as much from hers.
Not if she keeps up her attitude, you ain't going to hear much at all. Anyways, so, yeah, she wants to do a couple of topics, but then again, we're probably just an embarrassment to her.
Yeah.
So, as you older Gen X people, parents will attest to, I'm sure, those with children, that you are officially an embarrassment to your children. And anything that you do.
Yep.
My wife has been trying some of the new lingo out.
Oh, yeah.
I won't do it because I just refuse to learn New English. I'm already bad at
It's
the
not
old
English.
English. What's that?
I said it's not English, really.
No.
There's got to be another word. Urban something or other.
I
don't know.
To me,
It's slang.
you lying son of a bitch is much better than no cap.
Our podcast is bussin'. That's a
I
good
think
one.
that's food.
No, I
Food
don't-
is bussin'.
Food is bussing? I thought good things were bussing.
Well, I think it has mostly to do with food.
I think this should be a segment because I really find it entertaining.
Look,
No cap.
lingo from the Generation Z or Generation Y. Do they exist?
Oh, that's sad. Don't say that. Anyways, we got way off topic from our goodbye, but
All
that's
right.
kind of how it goes. So
Well, look for all that stuff, the website, the Patreon, the maybe some merchandise, depending on how all this goes.
good things to come. Good things to come.
Lots of good stories, lots of good times, probably new segments.
Send us questions.
Yeah, lots of questions.
We'll answer them.
Well, I think there's a section in there that you can write in comments and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure, but if you find that segment, we'll know better next week now that this is our official first podcast. So we'll know more about where you can send stuff and where to send stuff and what we're going to be doing next week. So
For now.
So until next week, hopefully next week, remember, you can do it the hard way.
You can do it like we do. We've been waiting to say that all night.
Bye!
See ya.